Yeah.
So I'd like to call the meeting to order at 2:10 p.m.
Madam Chair, we'll start with the land acknowledgement. I acknowledge with respect that we're some things.
Are we good?
Start over. I acknowledge with respect that we're in Robinson Huron Treaty Territory, that the land on which we are gathered is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and known as Boating. What? If it helps, this has been my whole day. And we'll try again. I acknowledge with respect that we're in Robinson Huron Treaty Territory, that the land on which we are gathered is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and known as Bawating. Bawating is the home of Garden River First Nation, Batchewana First Nation, and the historic Sault Ste. Marie Métis Council. Madam Chair, I just need a motion for the minutes of the last meeting.
Okay, do you want?
Sure.
Sorry, I
That'd be
haven't
good.
done that yet. Okay, so hi, everyone. I'm Melinda McGregor. I'm the chair of the Committee of Adjustment. So to my right, I have Chair Member Anthony Rossi, Frank Bruni, and Joseph Greco. And then we also have Sal from our planning department. And today we have Maggie McCauley from engineering. And to my right is Michelle Kelly, our secretary treasurer.
Now, if I could have a motion for the minutes of the September 20th meeting.
Can I get a motion? Thank you, Joseph. Second, Anthony, and all in favor?
Thank you. Madam Chair, I've been advised of a couple disclosures. Member Greco wishes to declare a direct pecuniary interest in application at tab 4, that being application B2723, 149 Trunk Road. And while Mr. Greco will remain in the chambers because there are two other applications that I will explain at the same time, he will not vote on that application. He also wishes to declare a direct pecuniary interest in tab 2, being application B2523, major contracting, 184 Queensgate. He is an abutting neighbor with an interest in the application, and he will leave his member chair and move to the gallery while the committee considers that application. Also on that application, Member Bruni wishes to declare an indirect interest, as the applicant is a member of his extended family, and he will remove himself from the chambers while the committee deliberates that application. Not on today's agenda, and I'm not sure if there's anyone in the gallery that's here on tab 2 on your agenda. No, it's not on your agenda. I took it off the agenda. However, it was circulated, and I don't know if there's anybody in the gallery that was circulated on 105 Allard Street. That would be application A2123, 105 Allard Street. It's been removed from the agenda. Yep, sure. Check with your employer and see if that works. How would I notify you? Yeah, but you wouldn't have got the letter now in time to know that this application has been removed. And the reason it was removed is it's going to be recirculated. There are other issues with the application that need to be addressed. I apologize. You. Pardon me? Well, you know what? My number's on there. You're going to get a notice again. If you want to call me anytime, feel free. I'm Michelle. Kelly, and my number's on there right at the bottom of your letter. Yep, that's it. Yes. You can call and find out more. You will get a new notice in the mail. You can call me then, and you can call me right before the hearing to see if it's still a go. If you feel more comfortable with that, absolutely. And again, I apologize. Yes, yes. The day continues. And then, Madam Chair, item tab 1 on your agenda being application A 2023, and I don't know if there's anybody in the gallery on this application. That's an application from Paul Beauchamp and Tasha McClellan, 175 Greenfield Drive. Is anyone here on 175 Greenfield Drive? Oh, good. That's been withdrawn, and the applicant withdrew it late yesterday, and it's no longer an application for committee's consideration. So that takes care of those two matters. Madam Chair, I'm requesting that we move forward to items tabs 4, 5, and 6, which are fairly simple in nature and won't require too much time. And this way, Mr. Lepore is not here with us for the rest of the afternoon. And that's application from, so we'll start with application B2623. To tab 3, and that's an application from 786211 Ontario Limited, civic number 16 Caesar Road. It is located on the northerly side of Caesar Road between Lake Street and Nicholas Avenue. The subject property is designated residential in the official plan and is zoned R4 medium density residential. The applicant is seeking the committee's consent to convey an easement for drainage purposes over parts 2 and 3 as illustrated on the submitted draft plan in favor of civic numbers 20 Caesar Road, 149 Trunk Road, and 151 Trunk Road. Notice of public hearing was sent by personal mail to neighboring properties and by posting a sign on site. Madam Chair, I'm going to go through the comments that I have on this application. They're the same comments on all 3 applications. I will just move forward, though, describing the other 2. Bell Canada Right-of-Way, Building Division, Conservation Authority, Engineering and Construction, Fire Services, Legal Department, Planning Division, PUC Distribution Inc. being Electric Service, Public Utilities Commission being Water Service, and Public Works had no objections or other comments to the application, other than Public Works stated that they were supportive of the application. There's been no evidence presented to suggest that approval would have a negative impact. Recommended conditions of any approval are provide the proposed transfer deed for easement for certificate of official, certificate application fee, reference plan, PIN abstract, and PIN map. And those are my submissions on that application, Madam Chair, and I request or a discussion.
Thank you, Michelle. Does any committee members have any? Or you want to discussion?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Lepore, do you have any comments for the Committee of Adjustment?
Madam Chairman, I suppose my comments relate to all 3 applications because they're all relevant. For the information of the committee, there is an existing drainage system, a storm sewer type system that runs from 151 Trunk east to 149 Trunk, and then I suppose south to the road, Caesar Road. And so what this application seeks to do is allow for an easement over 16 Caesar. The subsequent applications are very similar in nature. So
thank you.
Thanks. We can move to discussion at the
Okay.
end. So moving on to the next application. And again, I note that Member Grieco is not participating in this application. 786211 Ontario Limited and the estate of Frank Adamo is the owner of 149 Trunk Road. It is located on the southerly side of Trunk Road, approximately 43 meters from the Trunk Road Lake Street intersection. The subject property is designated commercial in the official plan and is zoned C4 general commercial. The applicant is seeking the committee's consent to convey an easement for drainage purposes over Part 5 as illustrated on the submitted draft plan in favor of civic number 151 Trunk Road. Again, there were no objections to the application. Building division, though, said no objections, but advised that a site plan agreement for this property needs to be updated to include the new parking area. And that's an advisement, Mr. Or not a condition. Well, it might be a condition. And you would have the same comment, so we'll move to the next application, and we'll move to tab 5 on your agenda, which is application B2823. It's an application from Louise Bickler, owner of 20 Caesar Road, which is located on the northerly side of Caesar Road between Lake Street and Nicholas Avenue. The subject property is designated residential in the official plan and is zoned R2 single unit residential. The applicant is seeking the committee's consent to convey an easement for drainage purposes over part 4 as illustrated on the submitted draft plan in favor of civic number 16 Caesar Road, 149 Trunk Road and 151 Trunk Road. Again, no comments or objections to the application as a result of my circulation to staff and outside agencies. And I've had no comments come in from the public. Recommended conditions of any approval are provide the proposed transfer deed for easement, certificate application fee, reference plan, PIN abstract, and PIN map. And those are my submissions, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Do I have any questions for Mr. Lepore from committee members? Nothing. Like to open for any discussion at all with committee members? Okay. So with that, I'd like to close and then I'll ask for a motion on tab 3 first.
Tab 3 first, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Frank. And that's to approve with conditions. And second by Anthony, and all in favor? Okay, and
Now to B27, and Mr. Greco will not vote on that application, but I do note, Mr. Lepore, that they have requested that the existing site plan be updated to reflect the new parking area as a condition, so it'll have to be done anyhow.
Address that.
thank you. So. Section. Just ask. Hey, can I ask for a motion for tab number 4
I'm sure. The motion to accept.
with
the
conditions?
Recommendations,
Okay, thank you.
including the site plan amendment for the parking.
Thank you, Anthony. And second by Frank, and all in favor? Okay, and I
move to tab 5, in which Ms. you'd be voting on.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one having that kind of day.
okay,
That's my.
And this is for 20 Caesar Road.
okay, thank you, Joseph. And can I ask for a motion on tab number 6, B28?
For the motion, Madam Chair, to accept, including all the conditions.
Okay, thank you.
Conditions.
Perfect. Thank you, Anthony. And seconded. Thank you, Frank. And all in favor? Sure. Motion passed for all 3.
Thank you. And now we'll note that Mr. Greco is abandoning his seat and moving to the gallery. And we'll move on to tab 2 on your agenda.
Step out.
And Frank, Mr. Bruni is stepping out. Okay, application B2523 is an application from Major Contracting Algoma Limited, who is the owner of 184 Queensgate Boulevard. It is located on the easterly side of Queensgate Boulevard, approximately 115 meters south of its intersection with Trunk Road. The subject property is designated residential in the official plan and is owned R2 single unit residential and PR Parks and Recreation. The applicant is seeking the committee's consent to sever the southeasterly 4.426 hectares fronting on Queensgate Boulevard. The proposed lot configuration is frontage of 41.5 meters and 93.1 meters on Queensgate Boulevard, has an irregular depth and an approximate area of 4.426 hectares. That would be the severed parcel. The remaining parcel is 10.97 meters frontage on Queensgate Boulevard. Again, it is irregular in depth, and it's 6.801 hectares is the retained parcel. The intent of the application is to create one additional residential parcel for future development purposes. Notice of public hearing was sent by personal mail to neighboring properties, by posting a sign on site, and by posting on the city's website. The following internal departments and external agencies received an invitation to comment. No concerns were raised that would preclude this application from moving forward. Algoma Public Health had no objections as it's municipally serviced. Bell Canada Right-of-Way had no concerns or comments. Building Division did not respond. Canada Post had no comments at this time. Conservation Authority advised that any development on the subject property or the severed property will require a site plan review and may require a permit from the Conservation Authority. Engineering and construction comments will follow. Fire Services had no comment. Legal Department had no comment. Planning Division had no objections but are supportive of engineering and PUC comments. Public Utilities Distribution Electric and Public Utilities Distribution Water had a comment and it will follow. Engineering and Public Works did not respond. So for engineering has reviewed the application and wished to advise the owner and future purchaser of the property that A, the property is subject to a draft plan of subdivision. There are a number of conditions that need to be met in order to be developed. The owner must enter into a subdivision agreement for each phase of the development. This does not to be made a condition of severance. 2, there is a condition that states that all construction related access must be from Trunk Road. This will require an access easement across the retained parcel. Access easement will be required on adjacent property leading to Trunk Road. 3, the subdivision requires sound attenuation in order to be developed. The sound attenuation is required for lots on the retained parcel, but the location of the sound barrier near the stormwater management facility on the severed parcel has not been finalized. Access to severed parcel may be required to meet this requirement. Next one, water services must be extended to Trunk Road once construction on phase 3, the retained parcel begins. Next, the proposed severed parcel includes the land allocated for the stormwater management facility and the park, which is to service this development and the adjacent areas. The owner of this land will take on the responsibility of building these facilities, including the cost. Again, in order to satisfy parkland dedication requirement, the owner of the severed parcel must enter into an agreement prior to approval of final consent. The agreement should address the timing of the construction, letter of credit requirements, and the transfer of the park to the city. The park should be included as a separate part of in any legal plans prepared for this severance. And the owner of the retained parcel is giving up the ability to control the pace of development on the retained parcel. The storm and sanitary sewer systems will rely on the development of the systems on the severed parcel. Any development on the retained parcel will have to wait for the severed parcel to install the sewers and the stormwater management pond unless the retained parcel proposes and is approved for alternate servicing layouts. And the owner of the retained parcel will not be able to influence any proposed changes to the severed parcel completed under a planning application except as a resident and adjacent landowner. And there has been some discussion of phasing the construction of the stormwater management facility. Any storm infrastructure, sewers, and facility that is not fully constructed as part of the current phase of construction must be secured by a line of credit for 100% of the engineering and construction costs of the infrastructure that is not built. The pond will have to be fully constructed to serve the entire drainage area by the time the severed parcel is built out. And the proposed temporary turnaround for the development of the severed parcel is located on the retained parcel. And should the severed parcel of land fail to develop, the retained portion does not have adequate frontage to provide a municipal road connection nor easy access to sanitary and storm services. And if needed, easements for both the retained parcel and the severed parcel to accommodate servicing access and temporary turnarounds should be established. And we recommend the owner and future owners discuss cost sharing requirements of the infrastructure that is being built to serve the entire development. Madam Chair, I would just set here that these would not be conditions of the consent. The only condition that would be attached to the consent are servicing easements. This is just information for both the applicant and the buyer and the neighbors to know when those things need to be addressed.
Thank you, Michelle.
PUC Distribution Inc., the electrical utilities advised no concerns with the proposed severance. It will be required for the electrical distribution system to be underground and a looped system for all phases of any future development. Electrical easements may be required. It is recommended to contact PUC Engineering early in the development planning stages. Public Utilities Commission, the water utility, advised that they are not opposed to the proposed severance. However, the developer shall be advised of the following. Prior to development, a waterworks agreement is required. Future phases of this development will require looping of the water main as shown on the latest Tulloch Engineering sealed drawings G2 and G8 dated August 22nd, 2023. Easements may be required to facilitate water main looping with adjacent lands. The general configuration of the waterworks for the entire proposed subdivision development will be reviewed as part of this severed phase of the development. However, separate waterworks agreements will be required for each phase of the development. It is recommended that an agreement be established between the owners of the severed parcel and the retained parcel for cost sharing of the water main looping. Final easement location shall be to the satisfaction of the PUC. Staff comments and recommendations. Recommended conditions of any approval are: provide a transfer deed of land for certificate of official. Parks Lever, the owner of the severed parcel, must enter into an agreement to address the timing of the construction of a park, a letter of credit, and the transfer of the park to the city. Provide certificate of official application fees. Provide a reference plan. Provide PIN abstract and PIN map. Minor variance application approval if and where required. Discharge of charge or mortgage, partial discharge of charge or mortgage, payment of taxes. Prior to development of the subject property, the applicant must provide the chief building official or his designate with written approval from the director of engineering and construction or his designate that they are satisfied that the development can commence. Prior to any development commencing, the applicant must provide the chief building official or his designate with written approval from PUC services that the electrical utility and water utility are satisfied and that development can commence. Where needed, easements must be provided for both the retained and proposed severed parcel to accommodate servicing, access, and temporary turnarounds to the satisfaction of Director of Engineering and Construction or his designate, and PUC services being the electric and water utilities. And those are my submissions, Madam Chair, and Mr. Ruscio is at the podium.
Thank you, Michelle. Mr. Ruscio, do you have anything you'd like to say to committee members or comments about Michelle's what she said? Comments, yeah. Thank you.
Michelle's comments. I have nothing to actually add, I think.
Okay. Thank you. And we have in the gallery who would like to speak.
Just some that
So if you'd like to speak, you're welcome to come up, but you'll have to give our name and your name and address to Michelle.
And if I just might add, if you want to have a copy of the committee's decision, there's a form to the left of you there that would have to be filled out, and you can take it with you and email it back to me if you like. And I would send you a copy of their decision.
Troy Murray, I'm at 12 Roostdale, a back end of the property.
What was the name, sir?
Sorry,
Your name?
Roy Murray.
Troy Murray. Thank you.
I think my question, and I think Maggie's already given me my things, but I just want to be clear on the previous agreement that we had with the previous one, that mainly construction would take place through Trump Road and not Sickle Green. So that was my main question. Still true.
Thank you.
It's my address.
It was definitely in the comments, so I'll let Michelle.
Well, the committee won't make that a condition because it isn't a severance condition. It will be part of any development that moves forward. And that's what engineering has said. In order for the development to move forward, they're going to be looking for these things.
Okay. Thank you, Troy. Okay. Is there anyone else in the gallery who would like to speak to the application? Is there all good? Okay. Well, would like to ask committee members if they'd have any questions for Mr. Ruscio.
Madam Chair, I have no questions for Mr. Rubio.
Okay, I don't think I have any questions. We did get a link through report with help from Maggie McCauley. And like Michelle said, we're not actually looking at those today. We're just looking at the severance. So I don't have any comments at this time. So with that, I'd like to close the discussion and I'll ask for a motion.
Put forward the motion, Madam Chair, to approve the application
Okay,
with all staff recommendations and conditions attached.
perfect. And I'll second. All in favor? So motion passed. Thank you.
Frank?
Yep. There's the minutes.
There's two. So.
Should I ask?
Just.
Back.
Business to bring up? No, so then we could-
Okay, a motion to adjourn the meeting,
For the motion.
second by Joseph, and all in favor? Thank you, motion adjourned or meeting adjourned.
Just going to